This is the third session of the digital business strategy. We stopped at cloud session in the previously. So, what is cloud? Cloud computing is the on-demand availability of computer system resources, especially data storage, computing power without direct active management by users. So, cloud is on-demand computer system. It means in early days, most of the organizations were referring to computer system established within the organization. And then when it comes to the issue like operating their own infrastructure, there were so many cost variables involved. So, people decided to outsource it from some other companies. Because of that concept, the cloud is developed. So, nowadays when you want to implement a system in the organization, what you have to do is you have to outsource computer resources from some other platform. Then in that platform you can install information systems and use the internet to browse that system resources. So, that mechanism is heavily used in this today's environment. Because that has many advantages. So, the features that we have given it here. So, I will go one by one, So, resource pooling, that has a many number of resources. So, normally if you want to operate platform like that in your organization, you have to spend much more money for resources. So, there is set a pool of resources in the cloud based environment. So, that is available always. So, on demand self service. So, self service facilities are there, you can configure, you can use it, and from the example that I am going to give next, so you can understand very well. So, easy maintenance, you do not want to, as I said, you do not want to maintain the infrastructure, let us say servers and softwares. So, you do not want to maintain. So, it is provided in the cloud basis, you can access that and you can install your softwares, then allow the staff to log into the that platform and use it. So, it is 100% maintenance free, but you have to pay for something to the cloud computing provider, cloud service providers. So, large network access, it has a very large network access. So, it is given through the cloud, and also availability, this is a main important thing, 24 hours 7 into availability is there. So, at any time that can be used. So, if you operate such environment within the organization, what will happen is, so sometimes, most of the times our human resource has to be kept there. So, one person or somebody has to be there in shift basis. So, that advantage is there when it comes to availability. So, measured services provided by them are measured. So, in cloud computing we can take one or two, whatever possible, as we prefer, and pay as you go. So, pay as you want. When you use it, you can pay it. So, otherwise whether you use or not in the platform, if we have developed our own platform, so whether it is used or not, we have to pay. But in this cloud computing, if we use only, we can pay. Security, security is always maintaining at 100% level. Normally in the security features, any other organization does not say that they are 100% maintenance. Is 99.99 availability is there in most of the cloud computing service providers. So security is very higher. So if we have our own network, what will happen is we have to spend much more money for the human resource like security officer. It means the IT security officer that who will safeguard the network and also some other features, and it is so economical because cloud, once the cloud service company given that cloud services to the required customer, let us say CSE Lanka or some other universities, so they provide it on the basis of payment base. So they can give it at a very low rate because the expenses, maintenance expenses and the other costs can be shared to all the customers. And automatic systems, the automatic processes are there, automatic systems are there. So everything is automated in the cloud system. So in cloud system, if you have referred to the normally in Google, that Google Drive and also Microsoft Exchange, Microsoft people have established their cloud environment. So you can go log into the emails and then you can refer to the Word documents, and also you can refer to the some other softwares, SharePoint or whatever the things through one platform. So it is provided for the users, but that can be allocated, the services will be allocated based on the requirement of the user. So that is the mechanism built in this cloud computing. So if you want to refer to this in practical videos, so you just type in as cloud computing in the YouTube, that you can refer to some more videos that will give more information to you. So you may have already used this cloud computing features in your organization as well. If you have used the email platform of Microsoft emails, you may have already used it, and also Google also has that. If you have a Gmail, that provide cloud services as well. Predictive analysis. So specialist software can use data to access probable future trend. This might include sales, inventory or cash flows. So I will explain you about in a diagrammatic form how the how this trends, future trends is going on. So in a company, let us say their sales is going like this in the January, and February it goes up, and in the New Year season in April it is going like that, right, and it's getting down, and in again in December in the New Year start it goes up. So that can be the trend. Sometimes this can the trend of this line can be goes down due to some other factors, that is uncertain factors. In the inventory also, that can be increased like this. So, this is the inventory, this is the sales, and production also has to be done in this way. So, this is the probable trend in future. Let us say in the predictive analysis, sometimes based on this data, so people will look at from the beginning of the organization. Let us say it started in 2020. So, 2030 the improvement is going on like this, and 2040 it's going like this. So, there is a trend. So, based on the, let us say if you analyze the past data, historical data, that can predict the future trend. So, that is explained here, what is future trend is. So, in SAP software, that is the ERP, that provides some future trends analysis. As example, I can show you some of the example of this kind of predictive analysis products are there. There are so many products, SPSS and MATLABs. So, using these softwares, you can predict the flows, how the trend is going on and what will happen in future. So, you can refer to this link and see the product features. So, you can get a very good idea about that. So, if you have done some researches in your studies, so you may have known to this one, because SPSS is a good software that used for analysis of data. So, that can forecast the future trends. So, taking the data, the past data, that can be a big data, that can be unstructured or structured. So, those data can be used to predict the future. So, that is called predictive analysis. Innovation and competitive advantage. So, what is innovation is? I think from the beginning of the chapter that I explained more about this innovation word. Innovation involves the conversion of new knowledge into new product, process or services, and the putting of this new product, processes or services to actual use. The organization may have knowledge. As we explained earlier, the knowledge management concept. So, in knowledge management concept, the data will be stored and that can be used. So, using those data, using those new knowledge, the past data, the new product can be developed. That product should be put into the competitive market for actual use. Actually, the real output of the product can be measured when it is used in the actual market. So, whether it is a good innovative product or whether it is a bad innovative product. So, innovation idea can be very high quality, but when it comes to the market, so innovation sometimes can be will not be giving good sales, but good innovative product will definitely give good sales for the company. In many organizations, product innovation and being the first mover may be a major source of competitive advantage. Who is this being first mover? First mover means once the product is developed, he has the patent. He will get the patent. So no any other can access the products. He has the whole authority. So he can sell the product, he can put the product into the market. So he is the first mover. He has all the, he will be taking all the benefits in the market. Though what are those benefits? Economy of scale. So in the scale, in the economy that can be expanded by this first mover. So he can achieve more sales, can establish technological standard. So he can establish the standard as he wants, because he is the first mover, he knows what's the product that he is going to launch, he knows the features of this, he can establish, he can recommend what the technologies can be used for this new product. And cost advantages. So the use of cost, so he decides the price, because he is the first mover, he decides the price, what the price should be. So cost also can be given accordingly, analyzed accordingly, then profit margin also can be forecasted accordingly. Easy access to scarce resources than followers, such as raw material or skilled labor. He has the freedom of accessing to the scarce resources, because normally when they are developing products, they develop based on the resources they have, and for the scarce resources, so if it is not available, the product is not successful. So they have the access to the scarce resources, they are because they are the first mover. And enhance reputations. So most of the companies want to develop innovative product to enhance their reputations, building up the brand image. As CS in Lanka, it is branded in a good way, because chartered accountants are highly qualified, and they are the people who run the financial function of the organization, and it is accepted in all over the world. The work done by them are quality. So it's the reputation they have, it's a product that launched to the market, so it has a good reputation, because in Sri Lanka, CS Sri Lanka is the first mover. Alright. So late movers may benefit in two ways. What is that? Imitate technologies and other innovation which is much less expensive than being a pioneer. So once the first company is develop a product, that product will be copied by some other company and develop another product. So they imitate the technologies, they copy the technologies and do the other innovations. So in late movers will get that benefit, because through research and development, these innovative product will be developed. So there will be so many research and development, and there are so many cost variables involved. So high cost is there for research and development. So that cost will be removed for these late movers, because already the product is developed. From that onward, the late movers has to develop another product. So late movers can learn from the mistake of innovation and avoid them. When doing the innovation, when doing researches, so there can be so many mistakes. So the companies learn from mistake and avoid of doing the same mistake in future, then do the new innovative product. But when doing the mistake, there is a cost. So, because the people has to do that again, the company has to do that again. So, late movers, they get the benefit because already product is developed. So, they have to do another product based on that. So, I think you got a good idea about that. Disruptive innovation and technologies. Disruptive innovation refers to an innovation that completely disrupts an existing market. What are the disruptive innovation? Because of the innovation, the market will be disrupted. That will be more complex. Sometimes the market will be lost. So, what are that? As an example, I can say that everybody is using cars, motorbike and so many vehicles. So, that use that consume fuel, or there are electric cars that consume power. So, if somebody develop, if some company develop a car which use water, let us say we name it as water car. So, what will happen? All the other market will be in loss because no one will be using the petrol cars or electric cars, they will be using the water cars. So, likewise, so new innovation, the disruptive innovation like that will disrupt an existing market. So, this is a good example. So, and that create a new market and value network and eventually disrupt an existing market and value network, displacing established market leading firms, product and alliances. Because of new innovations, some other markets which connect to a certain market will be demolished. It means, let us say let us say in the water car example, if it is implemented, if it is innovated, what will happen is the people who use the electric cars, that will not be usable in future. So, in that product there may be so many suppliers involved, so many products involved. Let us say even the electricity that the battery creators, battery developers and also some other technology developers which used by the electric cars. So, that market, that those companies will not be functioning in future. So, that is the very negative effect to the market. And disruptive in the graph given here, the disruptive technologies that can be at lower quality use, medium quality use, high quality use and most demand use. Normally initially that can be as low quality, then it will be increasing up, and disruptive technology has never end, that will be increasing day by day. An example of disruptive technologies which came into the industry can be explained as robotics, artificial intelligence, cloud computing, machine learning, 3D printing, self-driving vehicles and planes, cybersecurity, e-commerce, social platform, mobile, digital media, energy storage, infrastructure, space explorations, alternative energy sources, innovative materials. So, the mobile phone is a very good example. So, because of that the market is disrupted. So, it is now it is having a very good market. Now, day by day it is improving. So, that technology is improving now. So, that will have never end. So, fintech, what is fintech is? It is known as financial technology. How the finances technology is used in the industries, in the organizations. So, peer-to-peer lender replacing. In the banks, the lenders are replaced by in this peer-to-peer mechanism. And banks for lending and saving. Normally through the technology that can be automated. And peer-to-peer money transfer services replacing bank for money transmission and foreign exchange. So, foreign exchange transfer money to any other, that can be done online now. If you want to transfer some money to some other, in early days you have to go to the bank, you have to fill a form, and through the form that we are sending money. But now most of the people are sending money from abroad to Sri Lanka through the transfers, online transfers. So, firms providing payment security and verification. PayPal, I think you have already used this PayPal network. Is in the PayPal, you have to log into the PayPal, you have to create a profile, and you have to put your credit card and other information, verification information, everything you have to put there. So, then that information will be used when you are doing the payment. So, that payment gateway, that the PayPal services is 100% secured. So, when doing the online transaction, they have given the guarantee that no one can mislead this information. So, when you are doing the payment through the credit card, sometimes that payment information can be captured from some other companies which are misleading the things. So, those firms can be taken those information and pay their bills. So, in that mechanism it is not secure. So, but PayPal, use of PayPal, they provide the security and verifications. So, they have guaranteed that. Financial advice driven by algorithm offered at much lower cost than traditional advices. In today's world, that as I said you earlier, the trial balance also can be taken from the systems. So, and advices also can be taken from the system, because that forecasts future trends, disruptive trends. So, then the management can focus the future, can plan the future. App-based insurance companies, using the app-based, the transaction, everything can be done through the internet. Digital only startup bank with no legacy branch network, call center or complex systems. Let us say that there is a bank without physical persons. So, the bank is digitally present. So, you have to open an account through the internet, then you have to deposit money. So, that money can be deposited in a way that from other banks to this bank, or some bitcoins and some other currencies are there, in such a way that money can be deposited. So, bank can be available in virtual platform. So, those are the financial technologies that you can do. More than this, there are so many other financial technologies in day-to-day life. So, blockchain. What is blockchain is? It's a public form of bookkeeping that uses a digital ledger. The main feature that the blockchain has is the digital ledger. It's a ledger that allows individuals to share a record of transaction. So, it doesn't have physical ledger, it has a digital ledger. Whatever the transaction does will be done through digital form and have a disruptive impact on a wide range of industries, as it increases the level of transparency over transaction. So, when doing the transaction, that can be viewed by the other parties which are allowed to view, and so transparency is available, so, and has no central authority. There is no any central authority to manage that. Blockchain should also make it easier for accountant to verify the background and transaction history of prospective new client. When there is a new client comes into the action, the accountants can verify their background. All the information is stored there. That can be especially used in the money laundering procedures. And if you, so I am giving some good example that you can refer later, what blockchain is and how the transaction is going. So there are some videos in the YouTube that you can use. So sometimes you may think that it's better to read this note and understand, but if you look into the videos in the YouTube, so I don't have time to give those things to you. So you can do these things in your free time and learn new technologies in all there. In the blockchain, in this simple diagram that will tell how the blockchain mechanism is working. Let's say in the first one that someone requests a transaction. The transaction is requested. The requested transaction is broadcast to a P2P network consisting of computer known as nodes. So these are the nodes. It is connected. Transaction is sent here. Then P2P network of nodes validate the transaction and the user status using known algorithm. So they validate the transaction, whether it is a genuine one, is a wrong one, whether it is okay or not. Then they give the okay. Then verified transaction can involve cryptocurrency, contract records and other information. Cryptocurrency, I will explain it in the next slide. So then once the transaction is verified, it is created as a block. So this is the block created. New block is then added to the existing blockchain in a way that the permanent and unalterable. So in here, this is the blocks that they are creating, and once the block is created, the transaction is completed. In the blockchain, I will explain you as a simple example. You may have heard about Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency. So these things have a integrated correlation between each other, blockchain mechanism and also cryptocurrencies. So one of the cryptocurrency example is Bitcoin. So cryptocurrency are form of digital currency that do not exist in the physical form. So normal currency you can touch it, but in Bitcoin currency you cannot touch. So it has a digital signature because it's signed in digitally, and it uses the science of cryptography. So in a question paper sometime they will ask about this, what the science used by the cryptocurrency, that is cryptography. So there is a science behind that. And disruptive effect on traditional banking system. Normally every transaction should be recorded and controlled by the central bank, but in this mechanism it is not controlled because it's normally that many countries have identified this as a issue for them, but in future that will be growing as in an acceptable form, because the money is digitalized now. Disruptive effect on traditional payment method. Normally using of credit card, so you are doing the payment and those are the things that you are using, and also but in this cryptocurrency, so there is no any physical presence, there is no card involved. So cryptocurrencies work in a similar way to conventional currencies, that they can be used to pay for goods and services purchased online. So similar thing the similarities with the cryptocurrencies and as well as conventional currencies is can pay online. So, this is a good feature that you have to remember. Sometimes they will ask in the question paper, because there is one similarity that the people can pay through online. So, I will again go to blockchain. Let us say there is a blockchain software. So, you log into that, then you work on that. They give a task. In the task, you have to complete some reporting things, so whatever documentation. So, you work on that. Oh, that can be an ad click, or you click the ad, then they pay money, or such kind of mechanism. Then they ask what currency you want. Then you select cryptocurrency. So, you select Bitcoin currency. So, in the blockchain platform, now you have earned by working with the blockchain platform. So, here you have earned 1000 of Bitcoin currencies, right? That is cryptocurrency. So, now it is in the digital currency mode. It is not physically present. Now, what we are doing is, you want to buy something, that is through the online payment mode. You are going to buy something. What you are going to buy is, you are going to buy a television. When you are going to buy a television from an online platform, so they ask to pay. Then they will ask whether you pay from the credit card, that is a physical person, or you pay from the cryptocurrency, that is Bitcoin. So, through the blockchain platform, you have earned about 10,000 or 1,000 of Bitcoins. So, you use the Bitcoin to purchase this TV. Then TV is purchased, that is delivered to your doorstep. So, this is the scenario, the workflow between blockchain and cryptocurrency, that is known as an example, Bitcoin. So, in future, I will guess that when you are working in a company, so Bitcoin, the normally in our normal currency, due to the fluctuation of the economy, that the value of money also going down. So, the Bitcoin, the value you earn is international currency like that, right? Internet currency. So, it will not be having such effect. So, in a company, let us say you work for CSC Lanka or some other company. So, what will happen is, they have to pay some money. So, in the HR, they will ask in what mechanism you want the salary, in what currency you want the salaries. Then you will select, I want this currency in Bitcoin, that is cryptocurrency. Then the company will give cryptocurrency, that is Bitcoin, that will be saved in your blockchain platform. Then you use that money. So, let us say 50,000. So, use that 50,000 to purchase some good. Then you go to the supermarket. The supermarket will ask, you buy some goods, then they will ask to pay. So, I will say, okay, I want to use the Bitcoin. So, you are using the Bitcoin, that is cryptocurrency, and purchase the good. So, this is how the digital currency will be working in future. So, I think that you have got a very good understanding about the cryptocurrency and also blockchain. Why information system control are needed? Why there is a need for information control? We can run the organization without any information control, but because there are some unwanted things happening in the internet, the hackers can come into the organization. So, there are so many factors. Let us go one by one. Let us go to this one. Information system involve high cost when IT is used. When the IT involvement is there, organization spend lot of money for IT services. Therefore, there is a requirement will be building up, that is we want to have controls, because it is high cost. If we are losing those infrastructure which we have developed, then it is a damage to the company. And information affect all level of management and staff within the organization, impact on external stakeholders. If something happens to the information system, what the damage will have to the organization, and also it will affect to the stakeholders. Let us say the CSE Lanka, if the information systems are failing, what will happen? The brand image will goes down, and also that will affect you as a student. And information needs may require structural changes are made within the organization. When doing the new information system, some structural changes has to be done. Sometimes, let us say if you have purchased SAP software, SAP ERP, as per the ERP that is already built software, that is purchased by, let us say as an example, we say I am always taking the example of CSE Lanka. So, we will take the example of CSE Lanka, they purchase SAP ERP. So, as per the SAP ERP, there is a requirement to be employ some people. So, you have to recruit some people, and also structural changes has to be done. Let us say purchasing department, that should be separate from the finance department, and those kind of workflows can be there. So, such structural changes has to be done. So, the quality of information flow impact on customer service. The informations are flowing from one end to another. If something goes wrong, what will happen is that will impact definitely to the customers. So, customer service is the main important thing. Customer is the king for each and any organization, because any organization depend on the customer's satisfaction. So, if something goes wrong, that have a major impact on customer service, customers. So, information is critical to success of many organizations. In today's environment, without IT, without information system, no one can survive, because in order to compete in the competitive market, any organization in Sri Lanka or anywhere in the world, so they have to have very good IT involvement in the organization. Very good information system should be there. Otherwise, that will take the manual systems will take much more time to process some certain tasks. So, information is critical to the success of many organizations in that way, and information is it's a source of competitive advantage for most organizations. The information available in the organization is a source of competitive advantage for most organizations, because based on the information system and also the information available in the system, through that the organization can demand in the market. So, that will provide an additional competitive advantage to the organization. So, in this scenario which I explained with this graphical interface, I think that you have got a clear idea about why information system controls are needed. Why information system controls? The other one. That can be classified into two as general controls and application controls. What is the general control? The control the design, security and use of computer programs and the security of data files in a general throughout the organization. Example, log, access card, do whatever. In application control, let us talk about this one first. Specific controls unique to each computerized application such as payroll, account receivable and order processing. So, all of these workflows, the activities involved here, that will be done through the applications, it means the software. So, when we are do the transaction through the software within the organization, let us say OS in the outside the organization can be also. So, there can be application control. As an example, the HR system can be managed by the HR manager. So, that has all authority to manage the HR system. So, any changes in the system should be done according to his instructions. So, if it is given to some other person in the organization, what will happen is he will misuse the system. So, in the application wise, in the system level, in the information system level, those control has to be done. So, the system admin, the person who are in charge in the system admin control, he will set up the process as per the requirement of the HR manager. Likewise, in the financial system also, those control has to be done, and also there can be so many other systems, those control features has to be done. When you are logging in, you have access, you have login names. When you log in using the login name and password, you log into the system, then the required assigned number of screens will be displayed under your profile. It means sometimes when you log into the finance system, you are not authorized to access the purchasing order request, purchasing system. You are only authorized to enter the cash details or kind of some other transaction. So, through the applications you can control those things. In general control, which we have explained in above, so control the design, security and the use of computer programs and the security of data files in general throughout the organization. Sometimes different access control that does not use the information system. So, in this application control, especially the information systems are used. Through the information system, the control are enabled. So, but in the internal control, let us say in the server room, access is given through the access card, let us say RFID card. When you cannot go into the server room without access of the access card. So, likewise lockable features can be implemented as general control. So, what are the other controls? Controls over physical access, preventing unauthorized individuals gaining access to an organization as an IT and IS strategy. Example, fire alarm, fire control, door locks, electronic door access, desktop lock, biometric machines, RFID cards. Those are the things that physically you can control in the organization. So, there can be door locks, that automatic door locks can be there. So, through the the systems that can be automatically identified the person who should go inside, and electronic door access is the mechanism that I explained now. So, biometric machines, so that means the fingerprint machine, you place the finger to the machine, and those are the controls physically that you can handle in the organization. What is this logical access control? Only authorized users of IT systems are provided with access to those systems. For the HR system, the HR manager can have admin logins. As we explained earlier, these are the two parts that under this part the other controls are mentioned. The same logical things is explained under this application control as well. So, operational control, ensuring that an organization's day-to-day activities run effectively. Segregation of duties, audit trails. So, in operation wise, there can be so many information captured by the systems. So, the segregation of duties, and there is a problem in some of the organizations. Some people who are working in the organization as managers or deputy managers or officers, they do not like to segregate the duties to another, expecting that they will mislead. But in the new trend in the organization, we should empower the people to work. Then duties, regulation of duties is not a problem. So, we have to segregate duties, they have to align duties to some other. And audit trails, what is it? Audit trail is, in the accounting system, include an audit trail component that is able to be output as a report. So, when you are doing some changes in the system, let us say one data is entered into the system, that will be verified by some other, and he will be approved that one. Then thereafter there is another one he will be approving. So, those logs will be available, should be available in the system, not only in the accounting system, some other system like as let us say student management system is there. In the student management system, the result of the student will be entered into the system, that will be verified by the first data entry. So, then the second data entry person also will be verified, then thereafter that will be confirmed and they are confirmed by your manager, and that will be sent for approval. So, those logs should be in the system. So, in any case, if you find any fault done by a person, that has to be audited. Because of the audit requirement, those logins has to be maintained as a report. So, the system we use should give a report about the audit logs. Control over data input. Input control should ensure the accuracy, competence and validate of data inputs into a computer system. Data verification, data validation, check digits, control total, range check, limit check, compatible check, format check. Control over data input. That means when you I think that I do not know exactly whether the CS Sri Lanka has implemented a system like application process through online. So, if let us say that you are process your exam application or let us say registration application through the system. So, when you are doing that one, when you are filling that one, the data you enter will be verified. So, it is data verification. So, then that data will be validated. Verified is validated whether it is correct or not. Then check the digits. Let us say that when you log into other system and then it asks to enter the password, then it check the digits that you have entered is correct or as per the required policies and procedures. And also let us say control ranges are checking, and the age that you enter in the let us say birthday, you enter in the application form whether it is incorrect or wrong. So, those things will be checked. Normally, let us say that identity card department of Sri Lanka may have all the information of people. So, as per the ID number has the unique identification. So, through that link, the police department and other department can retrieve data and see that. So, those are the and in that in the form that enter into the system, that validate all this requirement, because Otherwise, what will happen is wrong information will be entered in the system. So, in the system screen, so that validates the data that the customer or the user input to the system. That is called control over data input. Cybersecurity. Cybersecurity, what is cybersecurity? Cybersecurity is protection of systems, networks and data in cyberspace. In the cyberspace, so the computer systems should be protected. So, in order to do that, there is a cybersecurity. Sometimes you may have heard that about cyber attack. It means through the website, the hacker will retrieve the information and he gets the access, illegal access into the network. Through the website they can access, and through the access that they have granted illegally will be used to access the other information system inside the organization. So, through the cyberspace, the hackers can do those things. So, cyber security is the most important thing in any organization. So, cyber security is the practice of protecting systems, networks and programs from digital attack. That is what I mentioned. So, these cyber attacks are usually aimed at accessing, changing or destroying sensitive information, extorting money from users or interrupting normal business processes. So, those examples are given there. So, through the cyber attacks, so many damages can be done. So, that will tarnish the image of the company. So, cyberspace is the environment in which communication over IT networks take place. So, cyberspace is the environment that normally, let us say it is internet. The internet, so many internet platforms are connected. So, each websites are connected to each other. So, in a general idea we can say that cyberspace is like that. So, in the cyberspace is the environment in which communication over IT networks take place. So, in the as the cyber security example and the software used for that, I do not think that you do not to learn about this, but in the practical sense that it is better you to refer to the videos in the YouTube. When you type cyber security example or cybersecurity methods, that will display, and some videos are there in the Google also, that is available. Cybersecurity in organization, that teach the employee about the cybersecurity in the organization. So, in the organization, if there is a cyber attacks coming in near future, so organization IT head has to inform to all the staff to be alert on that, because there are some common cyber attacks spread all over the world that sometimes comes directly to us, sometimes in indirect ways. So, the features of the cyber attacks has to be identified by the chief information security officer, which is employed by the organization, and he has to convey the messages to all the staff of the organization to be alert on the cyber attacks. And in general, cyber attacks that the organization can have from other people, other hackers, from the hackers has to be informed to the organization staff, because they must be aware of those things. In the event of a cyber attack, there is a team of individuals with the required responsibility to address the matter. So, in this slide which is explaining about when the cyber attack has attacked the organization, what individuals should be act on that, and what responsibilities to be given to that, and into what matter they have to be addressed, and the scenario of work after receiving the attack and also before receiving the attack is explained here. So, cybersecurity conscious culture, especially the people who are working in the organization, sometimes they will be working at home and sometimes they will be go some other places and working in the with the system. Let us say the one guy, let us say marketing guy or finance guy, the finance person in the finance division in an organization, he take his laptop and go to a other network in a public space and connect to the Wi-Fi and use the office systems. So, in that way it is connected to the Wi-Fi. Now we are connected, now he is connected to a other public Wi-Fi. If somebody can access the Wi-Fi, it means the hacker, if the hacker can access the Wi-Fi, public Wi-Fi, he can then come to the the finance person's laptop. Through the laptop he can access the system, finance system. Then through the finance system, the hacker will be able to go into the other system in the organization as well. So, that is how it is linking. So, the staff should be aware of these kind of accesses. So, there should be proper control to be established in the organization by Chief Information Security Officer. Then the staff will be aware of those things, then they will not be using side kind of thing, because normally the IT people, they know about these things, but non-IT people, they do not know about these things. Then they will be using the computers in other places without knowing about this cyber attack. So, learning from past security breaches. So, in previously there may be some security attacks has happened to the organization, that is recorded, and that will be in the knowledge management systems also, and it is the past experience. So, learning from past and then avoid from having such incident in future, that is the method. So, organization tolerance to the cyber risk. So, organization website and also other system has to be tolerance to the cyber risk. So, the organization has to test whether the system that they are using and the website that they are using is tolerant, it is avoided from cyber attacks. So, there is a mechanism to be tested. So, that can be done by the organization with the support of cyber security consultants. Practical measures to enhance the organization's existing IT and IS control. What are these practical measures to enhance the organization's existing IT controls? Continued planning. If something happens to the IT network of the organization, what will happen to the organization? The process of doing works will be stopped. In that scenario, planning has to be developed and to be implemented. It is in simpler form that can be explained as plan to continue when things goes wrong. Let us say if you have a disaster recovery site, it means you have a server computers, it is a network operation center which is located in the main branch or main head office of the organization, and there is a disaster recovery site located in some other places, which can be in cloud platform or anywhere in other countries as well. So, if the disaster recovery site is there, so the whatever the transaction, whatever the processing is done in the computer systems, those backups will be transferred to the disaster recovery site. Then then if something goes wrong in the current setup, in the current organization IT system, so we can recover it immediately without any harm to any information entered into the system, or without any harm to the customer, without any harm to the office staff. So, continuity planning is a major concern in any of the organization that the information security officer has to concern on that. Systems development and maintenance. So, all the systems and also developed systems and maintenance has to be updated. So, you may have some malfunctioning softwares. So, those things has to be updated and you have to maintain all of those things. It means let us say that virus guard. If you are not updating the virus guard, what will happen is so many viruses will come into the organization and that will demolish the, that will ruin the IT system of the company. So, it will be a hectic task to recover. Personal security measures, trustworthiness of staffs. Normally, this is a good thing that any organization should look into, because personal security measures, when you are recruiting people into the organization, there should be a measures on their personal behavior. Trustworthiness staff should be recruited to the organization. If the staff is not trustworthiness, what will happen is he will steal information from the organization and give it to the somebody. Or let us say if somebody is working in a bank, if he is not a trustworthiness staff of the banking system can be accessed through him by a hacker or somebody. So, when recruiting people into the organization, that measures has to be considered. Asset classification and control. So, give ownership to the staff. When using laptops, in the HR divisions, when they give a laptop, when the newcomer is, when the new person is recruited, so in the very first day, he will be given much more information about the security things, how to use the IT and what are the IT controls available, and the brief introduction will be given. So, induction program will be completed, and thereafter they will give a laptop to that person. Then that person has to sign, okay, I take these laptops, so I do not use it for my personal things, and do not take it outside. If you are taking outside, you have to get the permission. Those all the information has to be kept there, and also that has to be described and informed to the staff. Then it is like giving ownership to the staff about the ITSS and controls used by the organization. Compliance measures, that means policies and procedures. All of the organizations, most of the organizations in Sri Lanka and abroad, they are establishing IT policies and procedures. Let us say email policy. So, as per the email policies, it describes how the email should be written and how the signature should be there, how do you start writing the email and how do you copy the email, and those are the control policies that can be embedded in the organization as per the IT policy. So, email policy can be a subset of IT policy, and also all the other security measures, the compliance measures has to be written in the IT policies, and also that IT policy should be read by all the stuff and they have to sign it. So, those things has to be implemented in any of the organization in order to practice the measures. Stages of technology life cycle. In the technology life cycle, which consists of these things, that is research and development. So, initially in technology we do the research and see whether the suitable technologies that suit for the organization. Sometimes through the research and development we can identify that this is not required. So, as a time frame from product invention to the point at which out of pocket costs are fully recovered. Normally there is a time once the IT is implemented, the expenses will be recovered. There is a time frame, let us say within 5 years time, that will be recovered. So, maturity, new innovation becomes accepted by the general population. The new innovation that is implemented, innovated by the company, become accepted by the general population. So, with the new technology you can develop a new products that will be put into the market, then in the maturity level that will be accepted, and also that can be declined as well. So, there is a trend like research and development, that the product is development, there is a time frame that goes, and in the time frame about 5 years time the product will be come into maturity level. The product was developed using the technology. So, after the maturity level that will come to decline. Then again the research and development has to be started, and that will create another new products, or else give new addition to the old product by the research and development. Then again as an will be there maturity decline. So, that cycle will be circulating. So, if the company is managing this cycle, they can be compete in the competitive market. Technology acquisition. What is acquisition is? Normally companies acquire some other company. So, in technology wise, technology acquisition involves bringing in new technologies from external sources. So, new technologies will bring into the organization from external sources, that is technology acquisition, and using firms' own internal research and development activity. By its nature, a technology acquisition is a technology transfer with transaction costs associated with the various stages of acquisition process. So, the technology used by some other company will be acquired to our company. Let us say cloud service provider has the cloud service technology. So, that technology will be acquisition by our company. So, in this simple diagram will give a very minor idea about this one, small idea. Important to remain proprietary and available skill and resources, check the available skill and resources. If it is yes, internal development, or if it is no, acquisition of the technology owner, acquisition research contacts. Then in here if it is no, available for sale, and yes, purchase the license trade is purchasing the software, and then if no, joint venture research partner. So, this is a simple thing, the diagram, but if you refer in the internet that technology acquisition, there are so many example in the YouTube and also in the Google. why an organization might require new technology. So, through the technology acquisition, so organization may require new technologies. Is here the new technologies is required for external sources. So, why they need? So, that can be a old system that we are using in the past. So, due to the old system issues, the new technology, new system will be needed. So, because of that requirement, organization will enlist whether there is a requirement for a new system. So, and slow or out of memory. Due to out of memory, it means the memory that provided by the system is not sufficient to process. Let us say when you process something, it takes long time to process. Normally, in programmers, in the system level, in technology, in the hardware level, there can be memory chips or hard disks that store the memory. That can be expanded, that is all right. But in the system level, if the processing time is taken a lot of memory, and if it is consumed much more memory when processing, that take lot of time, then ultimately the system will slow down. In order to match the system requirement of the memory, we have to improve the hardware technology also. So, because of the slowness, there will be a requirement for new technology. So, difficulties in upscaling. Sometimes the already available system or infrastructure cannot be upscaled, that is outdated. So, in that case, so they cannot upgrade into new technologies. Let us say the system that we are using at present is written by a language, very old language, but that old language features, the programming language features are not supported by the new system that we are going to integrate. Integrate means a new system which is already developed by some other organization, the software provider, we are going to purchase that and integrate that system features into our old system. But we cannot do that due to the difficulties in upscaling. So, poor data management. Data management, data available in the system has to be managed, but in the level of management, when you analyze the management techniques used in the system, if it is in a poor level, that has to be improved. So, in some system that cannot be improved due to some limitations. So, poor security management. In the system, let us say in a system like one person enter data, another person enter another data, thereafter the manager will confirm the data and thereafter no one can change. But if there are a system like the first data entry person is entering data and second data entry person is entering data, thereafter manager is confirming, but thereafter again data entry 2 person can change the data. So, it is poor security management, because once it is confirmed, the other person, the first person or second person, they cannot change the data. If it is to be changed, that has to be given the authority to a top management or somewhere. And also poor security control, because of poor security control, some other outside people can access the systems. So, because of those reasons the new technology will be required. No integration, no able to link to external cloud based system. It means the system can be outdated. So, those new system cannot be upgraded, integrated or upgraded to whatever the way, that cannot be done with the cloud based systems. So, in that scenario, if you implement a cloud based system, that is very cost effective. So, rather than using cloud based system, now maybe we were using a very old system, old infrastructure. So, if you want to upgrade into a cloud based system, that is not possible sometimes. So, because of the reason, so new technologies will be required. So, the next one is a lack of analytical and reporting capabilities. In the system, there should be analytical tools. It means, as an example, for the last 5 years, the sales volume has to be analyzed and predicts the future trends. And if it is not available in the system, the reporting capabilities are very poor. Then the salesperson cannot will have to analyze the report in manually and give it to the management. So, those are the lacking behind the systems. New products or services requiring new technologies. The new product or services which will introduce to the market will have to use new technologies, but our present systems that we are using at present will not be supporting for those new products. Then we will have to go with the new technologies. Digitalization. Digitalization and business value. While online sales, social networking and mobile application have given more values when it comes to digital. Before 2000 starting, so social media and this mobile application were not in a high level of use. So, because of that reason, it was an issue for the business market to promote their products. So, but now the social networking and mobile application has given good advantages for all the organizations to market their products. So, it is now digitalized. So, let us say that everybody is working on smartphones. Through the smartphones, there are so many applications that can be installed to the phones. Then using the phones, you can do the transaction. So, it is digitalized now. Let us say that banking transaction also can be done through mobile applications. So, social media and mobile application has given much more value when it comes to digital. Technology and digital transformation can drive business values in 4 different ways. How the technology will give a business value in 4 different ways. So, enhance connectivity, automation of manual tasks, improved decision making, product and service innovation. The new technology, will give a business value and which enhance the connectivity, because let us say in the early days that when you were to connect with some other network or with somewhere, it was very difficult, but nowadays everything are interconnected. And automation of manual tasks, the tasks that you perform manually are automated. So, in a HR system, so when you place the finger in the finger finger attendance machines. So, that captures the in and out, then it sent to the software called the HR software, then that automate the process. It means leave will be automated, that leave will be automated, and in and out of the attendance will be automated, and automatically OT will be calculated. Those tasks are automated, but early days that which were done in manual. Improve decision making. So, when taking decisions, the technology is used. It means using technology, the data available in the system and also the technology use, the decision can be taken and that can be improved. The way of deciding can be improved. Product or service innovation. There can be new product, there can be new innovations. So, technology has supported as giving a very good business value through the new innovation. So, through the innovation, the technology, so new innovative products has been developed. So, it is like that in these 4 activities that you can refer, it is the digital transformation from old age to now. Due diligence. What is the due diligence? That is a reasonable step taken to avoid committing an offence. The success of the use of technology depends on how the technology is selected, implemented and managed. So, success of the use of technology. So, organization buy some technological softwares or infrastructure. So, then that infrastructure has to be selected well. It means, let us say for a small company, so if they are going to buy a SAP product, SAP means the ERP. There's normally SAP, Oracle, and there are so many other the ERPs. So, those ERPs has to be selected, the best ERP should be selected for the company. So, in the process of evaluating the best ERP suitable for the company, the IT people involving with the other subject expert, they have to evaluate what the best product suitable for the company, and also whether they can bear up the cost involved with this purchasing. So, then we have to select the best product. Then it has to be implemented. So, implementation also has to be done in a good way, otherwise that will be failing. So, when implement is there is a change effect is there. So, we have to consider about the change and also the managing the technology. So, management part is there, the authorized people has to be employed and should be given responsibilities. So, success of the use of technology is depend on selected, implemented and managed categories in that scenario. So, information system failed due to what things? Due to use for the wrong problem. Senior management are not interested. Let us say take the person use for the wrong problem. Let us say that the people who want to buy a certain product, certain software, they evaluate the certain processes, they have a problem, the problem is identified, based on the problem, so they are going to buy the product. So, you have bought the products, you have purchased it, now we are going to use it. Now, you can identify that the product that we have chosen, selected is not appropriate for the problem we have. So then it's a wrong selection. Senior management are not interested. Sometimes senior management are interested only for income that they received from the organization products. So, but they don't concern about the IT. So, because they don't have the enthusiasm to improve the IT, and they don't feel the requirement of IT. If it is failing only, they will feel the requirement. That is how it has happened throughout the years in Sri Lanka and some other organization in foreign. So, senior management support is a must, because there is a cost involvement and they have to guide the people to select the best product and implement and manage. Users are ignorant in design and development. In design and development, users are ignorant. When collecting the requirement to develop a system, let us say in a finance division, in CS Sri Lanka we will take an example. In CS Sri Lanka, finance division want a ERP or whatever the software for them to do their transaction, do their day-to-day activities. So, when selecting the design and development, when selecting the software, they ignore some main important users. They are the people who have the knowledge of the transaction, the knowledge of the processes. But the top management who are involved in the divisions level, that can be a finance manager or somebody, let us say, they don't have a proper knowledge. So, they will be ignoring those knowledgeable people. So, let us say purchasing thing and also payment thing, or else whatever the transaction. So, those people will be ignored by the finance head. So, ultimately you have selected the product, that the software, and you have implemented and you are going to manage it. So, what will happen is the requirement that is classified before purchasing the software is wrong. It means you have selected the wrong software, you have defined the requirement wrongly, because you have ignored the expert, it means the subject expert. So, let us go to the next one. No attention is given to behavioral factors in design and operation. In the organization, there are some behavioral factors, how the people will behave, how the business process is behaving, and how the transactions are going, how the customers are behaving in the organization. So, by looking at the theoretical background without looking at the practical background, sometimes the organization select the softwares and implement and try to manage. Ultimately, what will happen is the organization will have to change their behavior. Then that will be an issue to the organization. Acquisition are transactions in which the ownership of companies, other business organizations, their operating units are transferred or consolidated with other entities. So, this was explained in the previous slide also, what is the acquisition is. So, ownership of the companies will be transferred. So, there are methods of acquisition, the modes. Let us talk about those things. Partnering, an agreement, arrangement between organization or people to work together. As an example, Starbucks, Spotify, Apple and MasterCard. So, those two companies, let us say as an example we will take Apple, they had a partnering with MasterCard for transactions. So, that is in simple terms you can identify. If you go to this link, you can find out that there are so many partnering example. These are the partnering example. So, the each and every example is explained here how it has happened. So, it's a kind of partnering with others for some specific objectives. So, what is external partnering? Joint ventures, franchising and strategic alliances in which arrangements are established with external third parties with a view to achieving a common purpose. So, in partnering you have to understand about the main features, that is external third parties. So, agreement with external third parties with a view to achieving a common purpose. There is a common purpose and external parties are there. In the question paper, these features can be checked and asked. Let us say vehicle parts, so computer parts. Let us say vehicle parts. When developing a vehicle, when creating a vehicle, so that need some parts. Let us say seat. So, they need to partner with seat manufacturers. So, when there is a let us say a radiator manufacturer, so they have to deal with the radiator manufacturer. Ultimately, they will be partnering with so many other external entities, third parties, and bring their product into their company and develop the final product, which is the vehicle. So, that is a good example for that. So, develop better product and services together with others. So, main features are elaborated here. So, you speed up your time to market. So, you do not want to develop the product by your own. So, you can have agreement with external parties, bring their product, then the time will be saved. Find and develop new technologies and approaches that we cannot do by ourselves. Find and develop new technologies and approaches that we cannot do by ourselves. So, our organization may have some limitations and limited resources, limited technologies. So, based on those factors, we can judge that, we can identify that we cannot develop the product by ourselves. So, we need to partner with some other organization and bring their technologies or product and collect those technologies product and develop our product. Partnering with companies to bring new products and services to market. So, we have to partner with them and bring their new product and service and then win market. Acquisition. So, in the acquisition we explained about partnering, those are the models, right? Partnering, external partnering and joint ventures. Two entities join to create a separate entity. Joint product development. To develop a robot, you may need joint ventures in different areas. So, joint product development is the main key point mentioned under this joint venture partnering. So, as an example, if you want to develop a robot, if you want to create a robot, you must have joint ventures in some other different areas. Let us say the physical appearance of the robot can be developed by some other. So, you have to join with them. Likewise, there are some examples. Vodafone, Telefonica agreed to share their mobile network. BMW and Toyota cooperate on research into hydrogen fuel cell vehicles, electrification and ultra lightweight materials. West Coast joint venture between Virgin Trail and Steercoach. Google and NASA develop Google Earth. So, these are very good example. So, everybody knows about this one. So, these are the joint ventures. So, from this example and the elaboration given here, so you can understand this. In the acquisition, strategic alliance. What is the strategic alliances? Strategic alliances are agreement between two or more independent companies to cooperate in the manufacture and development or sales of product. So, they are having an agreement between two companies, those are independent. So, this is the key feature mentioned there in the questions MCQ, that you have to identify this key feature. When the strategic alliances there, the main key feature is independent companies. The agreement between independent companies to cooperate in the manufacture and development of sales product. As an example, we can say Ford and Edipio. So, if you go to this one, so such strategic alliances are available. You can refer to this one. Ford and Uber, they have an agreement with them, with each other. Hello Packard, Disney, and there are so many examples. You can read this one to get an idea about what is strategic alliances. And franchising is an agreement where franchisor grant or license some rights and authorities to franchise another party to do the business. So, it's a franchisor that, and also franchise is there. As example, from the example, of course, that you can identify the meaning of franchising is Pizza Hut, what is this, KFC, McDonald's and Domino's. So, those are the franchising example, so do the business. So, they give a license. So, McDonald's has given license to a company in Sri Lanka. What they does is, they have give the license to do the business in Sri Lanka. But the person who do the business in Sri Lanka has to follow all the instructions given by the franchisor. So, and also as an example, KFC, the KFC menu and will be shared to the people in Sri Lanka, and they have to do the things according to their instructions. So, up to now that we have completed the chapter 2. So, from next session onward we will be continuing the chapter 3. Thank you.